Good morning, everybody. We are live. This is Mike Phillip filling in once again for Dr. Peter Glidden, who's on a much-deserved holiday. If you're listening, Dr. Glidden, don't worry, we got this. I got Mike in Ottawa riding shotgun. Mike, say hi to everybody.
Good morning, everybody.
All right, that's enough out of you. Now,
Thanks.
I've got a question. Listen, this is serious. I want everybody in the listening audience to think about this question. If you received the worst possible news that you could ever get regarding your health, what if you were told that you had an incurable condition that was slowly going to waste away your body? And you were going to slowly suffocate. Your muscles would atrophy. You'd be in a wheelchair. You would be a burden to your friends and family and loved ones. What would you do? Would you roll over and die? Or would you get some fight in you? And would you go on to live an amazing life and do incredible things that other people could only dream of? Our guest today is Miguel Castillo. He's a member of the engineering and training team for the astronaut office at NASA. Mechanical, aeronautical, and material science specialist with 12 years of professional experience in scientific research, technological innovation, special projects in aerospace, automotive, and military applications, inventor of materials and hardware to safeguard the life of astronauts on board the International Space Station, and author of 15 publications for NASA. Internationally recognized as an inspirational public speaker and scholar, as well as for his altruistic work in favor of education. Upcoming author of 2 books, one titled A Gift from the Universe, which narrates his journey through the difficulties of living with multiple sclerosis, a condition for which he cured himself. The second one titled Total Environmental Alignment, a modern-day approach to Feng Shui. Mr. Castillo, have we got you?
You got me, Mike. Good morning.
Good morning. And I was very excited to do this interview today. You're an amazing guy, and, you've got a story to tell, and as everybody does. And, just how I prefaced everything, you received some very bad news at 19 years of age. And if we could start there, and then we'll progress to what you've been doing today. But you were a young guy, and I'm guessing that you started experiencing some troubles. Could you just get into that a little bit for our listening audience, Miguel?
Yeah, well, as a lot of the 2.5 million people on this planet that unfortunately have received the news that they've been diagnosed with MS, I went through, the struggles, as you said, of going that at the age of 19. Now, I was very much a candidate, being 19 years old, to develop MS, because that's where doctors tell us, the window begins. Most people that get MS get it between the age of 19, 20, and 40. So I was right at the beginning of the window. And I was going through a lot of hardship, mostly emotional, mental, but also now looking back, a lot of physical hardship. I was putting my body, as a young college student, through a lot of fried food, a lot of hamburgers, a lot of soda, and all that added up. And, it turned out to be MS, a condition for which I found the cure in only 1.5 years.
Well, and not to mention the junk food diet, but the stress of being a college student.
Definitely. Yeah, at the time, I was most of my primary, secondary, and high school education, I did actually outside of the country. So when I started college, that was the first time that I got introduced to the American education system, and that was quite a shock because, a lot of my inspiration got taken away by needing to follow the structure of a book and something, an education that didn't really apply to the real world. It was mostly about solving equations that, have been solved and taught to people and put in books for the last 50 years. So as a young student, I was always trying to discover the whys and hows of life. And, when I started college here in the States, all that got taken away. So that added to a lot of the stress. I was going through family problems, of course, financial problems, being on my own for the first time. And that emotional stress added up to the junk food, and it resulted in something as severe and serious as MS.
That's interesting. So did you actually get to the point where you were wheelchair bound or anything like that? I mean, how far did it go?
Yeah, I had 3 remission and exacerbation periods, so every time, of course, that it came back, it got worse and worse and worse. The thing, I started losing most of the movement on the left side of my body, so I found a way, being a young college student, to try to disguise it. So I was on my way to being bound to a wheelchair, but I found my left leg is somehow I made it a crotch, and I tried. A lot of people didn't know that I had it because, I stumbled up and down stairs, going up and down the buildings, the University of Texas, and a lot of people didn't know this, but my vision was going, my hearing was going, even my speech was deteriorating a lot. So, yeah.
It gets hard to hide after a while, hey, but that's what people tend to do when they've got a progressive disease is they try to hide it and act normal, so-called, as long as they possibly can. And, it just gets to a point where you can't anymore. So they put you on pharmaceuticals, and if you could just get into that a little bit, what your experience with that was. I think it was 4 months or so?
Yes. So I went to the neurologist right away. I actually went into my orthopedic surgeon, and because I thought I had a knee problem, I had fallen on my left knee a few months before the start of the symptoms, and I went to see him to see if there was something going on because he had given me a cortisone shot, and he said, this doesn't sound like something that is just related to a fall. I'm gonna call a friend of mine. So he sent me over without telling me necessarily. He sent me over to the neurologist. He did, the TAP test, and just to see about sensitivity and neural response. And he said, this seems to be a little more serious, so we're going to put you through an MRI to see what we find. And then that's where they discovered CMS on my cerebellum. So then he shot me over to another neurologist who was the head neurologist in El Paso, and after doing a spinal tap and another MRI, he determined that it was, in fact, MS. So he put me on Copaxone, which I know that a lot of the MS patients are familiar with, and I took that for about 4 months, and then one day, I think it about the 3rd month, I said, there cannot be a cure. I cannot heal this or even manage it by injecting acetate into my body. I didn't need acetate to be healthy, so why should I need it to be back in health again? And that's when I decided to get off the medication and find an alternative cure for it, and I did.
That's great. So if you could get into how you went about finding a way to cure yourself. And, it's funny, we live in this society where we've got freedom of speech, but you're not allowed to use the cure word, but you cured yourself. I mean, it's just a fact. If anybody wants to dispute it, you're up and walking around and doing some amazing things today. So what did you find that helped you overcome the monumental obstacle that is multiple sclerosis?
Yeah, it was a 4-part approach, and I write this in the book, A Gift from the Universe, because it had to come. At the time, I didn't quite understand the physical component of the disease, of how, not being nutritionally supplemented, eating the fried food and all of that, how all that contributed to the MS. So my approach, I guess being some sort of a smart guy, I've always thought of myself as a pretty introspective guy. I went inside and I found through the help and advice of my mother, who's a psychologist. She has a master's in psychology. I found that the world that was going on, the world inside of me, in my emotions and my thoughts, held a pretty big clue to finding the cure. So that's when I started on what I call, my enlightenment or my spiritual journey. And I started going within. I started finding teachers and people and mentors that taught me how to meditate, taught me how to do yoga, taught me a number of healing modalities, including the very, very common Reiki, okay? And it was through the putting together of all of those different techniques that I was able to go inside and find the emotional cure, or the emotional reason why I needed to develop EMS. Because in the years after I developed EMS, I began to understand that the body never lies, that any time that we get ill, especially from something as serious as MS, it's the body trying to give us a message. So what is the message? It took me about a year and a half to decode the message and understand this is what the MS was here to teach me. So now, and I write this in the book, EMS was not the worst curse. It was the beginning of my life. It was the factor in my life that gave my life direction, that told me this is one of the primary things that you're here to do. This is a huge component of your purpose. So now the message that I try to give is you don't have to get sick to learn these things, but you do have to do something to listen to your body, and that is one of the reasons that I push meditation so much, because we have to be able to listen to ourselves.
Beautifully said. And here's the thing. By the time symptoms show up, that's a lot like the check engine light in your car coming on. There is a problem. Things are running rough. In your case, the myelin sheath was deteriorating. And, and here's the thing. I really like what you said, that the disease wasn't your destruction. It was your beginning. It was a new birth. I mean, once you've been through something like that, it really gives new meaning to your life. And you took the ball and you ran with it and became so much more. Now, when you started down the journey, you probably found a positive attitude in it all. Were there times, I've dealt with people that are dealing with chronic issues, and a lot of times they want a cure and they want it to show up tomorrow, but a lot of times it takes time and it takes purpose, and you have to consecrate in your heart that you're either going to win or lose. I hear the music, and that means that we're
defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
As if chlorine in our water weren't bad enough, now they're adding ammonia?
It's true. Some municipalities are now adding ammonia plus chlorine to your water supply. It's a disinfectant called chloramine. But with a trusted Big Berkey water filter, you can keep chloramine out of your water. New NSF EPA certified lab tests show EPA Berkey water filters remove chloramines, pharmaceuticals, BPA, pesticides, bacteria and viruses, all forms of fluoride, and much more. Big Berkey water filters are the original and most trusted on the market, the gold standard in water purification. And our filters last for years at less than 2 cents per gallon. Big Berkey, the one that's powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get your Big Berkey today. Call 1-877-99-BERKEY or click BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
No other network provides the level of customer service we do. When it comes to radio advertising, we are your one-stop shop. And no matter how big or small your business is, we can help. Email us at advertise@gcnlive.com, and an experienced advertising executive will help you take the first step towards driving more customers to your business or website. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
By now you know that wireless technology like cell phones do in fact pose dangers to the health and privacy of everyone. Blockit Pocket's wide range of products are unmatched in providing the protection you deserve. No scare tactics, just common sense. BlockitPocket.com offers quality American-made options to alleviate and eliminate these invisible dangers. Learn more at BlockitPocket.com or call 888-315-9618. BlockitPocket.com, enhancing health and privacy.
Sciatica, lower back pain, hip pain, poor posture. If you suffer from any of these problems, get ready to relax. Introducing an amazing product that's been in the market for over 25 years, the Sacro Wedgie. It was invented by a football coach using a common sense osteopath technique. He created this device to help his athletes by isolating and supporting the sacrum, which is the keystone of our anatomy. This wedge-shaped bone is in the center of our hips, where a lot of pain starts. Simply relax 20 minutes daily on the amazingly simple Sacro Wedgie and let gravity do the work, helping muscles rebalance and start releasing nerves. Sit in the Sacro Wedgie at the computer or while traveling to help correct posture to finally help relieve those stubborn aches and pains for only $33.95. It's made in the USA, so click the family-owned website at sacrowedgie.com, spelled SACROWEDGY.com, or call 1-800-737-9295. That's 1-800-737-9295. Relax your back pain away with the Sacro Wedgie.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Before the break, we were talking to our guest, Miguel Castillo, about the process of healing. Now, Dr. Glidden is fond of saying healing is a process, not an event. It doesn't happen overnight in a lot of cases. There's some patience involved. How long did it take you from the time you started when you got away from the medication and used meditation and the things that you did in order to overcome this? How long would you say it took?
It took within the first few months, when I started finding the first answers, the first ahas. When I had my first aha moments, I really felt something change inside of me. It's like somebody put wind under my wings. In order for me to completely eliminate, or the time that it took me to completely eliminate it was about a year and a half.
Yeah, and and that's what we tell people too. I mean, when you're facing something as big as that, don't expect that you're going to take a pill and be fine in the morning. That is not how it works. There's a process involved. Mike, you've been pretty quiet this whole time. Have you got anything to say about this topic?
I was actually going to ask, aside from meditation and any form of spirituality, what other approaches did you take in order to get rid of your multiple sclerosis?
Well, I learned in the year and a half that I went through this, I learned a very special modality of meditation, which now I teach this stuff now, and I was lucky enough to learn hypnosis. So it was really a technique of self-hypnosis that allowed me to deal with the mental part of myself. Because, I was able to the meditation helped me deal with my emotions, to calm them down, to see how I was judging myself. But then in this self-hypnosis technique, I was able to go into the depths of my brain, of my mind, of my subconscious mind, and see, what programming, what conditions that I'm not aware of are running the show for me. So not that I've been able to completely go in there and substitute or replace or reprogram everything about myself, because I wouldn't be here. I guess that's what you call enlightenment, when you completely transcend all of that. But I was able to go into my mind and start seeing those factors that contributed to me developing the illness. So I did change my diet at the time. And that was really mostly because of a lack of resources. Like I said, there was something that told me eating 1.5 pounds of meat and biggie fries and a 44-ounce Coca-Cola or soft drink is not helping. So I didn't have the knowledge. My doctors didn't have the knowledge to tell me you have to change your nutrition. But something inside of me told me, let's change this a little bit. So that's why adding these factors together a year and a half later resulted in the complete elimination of the symptoms.
And once the symptoms were eliminated, did you? I mean, it must have felt like walking out of a jail cell. I mean, you must have had just such an awesome new lease on life at that point.
Yeah, I'd say that I was born twice. My body was born, 30-some years ago, but really I was born into life after that 1.5 years.
That's so beautiful, Miguel. Amazing. Listen, we've got a hard break. I hate to cut you off. After this hard break, we're going to talk about some of your work with NASA. That's what people are chomping at the bit to hear. Mike and Mike filling in for Dr. Peter Glidden. We'll be back after this. Welcome back, everybody. We are live, and man, this has been just an incredible interview, and we're only halfway through, I'm very happy to say. Miguel Castillo, our esteemed guest on the Dr. Glidden Show, joining me and leftover Mike in Ottawa. Mr. Castillo.
That's gonna stay, eh?
Yeah. So, Mr. Castillo, you ended up working with NASA, doing some amazing things, and I'd like to get into that a little bit now. When did you find out? When did you get the call that they were interested in you and your brain and your talents?
It was actually shortly after that 1.5 years of struggling with EMS. After you heal yourself from something like that, you start thinking. You start having a change in attitude. You start thinking, if I can get myself out of a wheelchair just by myself, what else can I do? What other impossible thing can I try? To see if it was just luck or to see if there's something to this. So I said, okay, well, I'm going to dream of the impossible. What could an engineer dream of that is unachievable to most people, right? And I thought, well, I want to work for NASA. So coincidentally, through a university program, only a year later, in 2003, I heard that NASA was looking for people to do research in their microgravity facility. And I applied to the University of Texas, and I was the first one to be selected to do a 1.5-year project working on combustion. And the project, the research, would eventually put me in what I believe to be is one of the best places in the world to work within NASA, which was the microgravity facility. It's this place that allows you to simulate inside of an airplane what it feels like to be in space, to be weightless like in space. So I got that opportunity.
So, and when you're doing that, just get into that process a little bit. You get into a plane, and I'm assuming you're going, just get into it a little bit. I don't know anything about it, so I'm learning here.
Right. Well, at the time, we had this airplane called the KC-135. If somebody wants to look up what it looks like, what it feels like, I'll have a video posted on my website soon. I'll be doing some of the pirouettes and acrobatics inside of the airplane sometime soon. But look up Vomit Comet. That's what the airplane is called. And it's called the Vomit Comet because anybody that goes in there is going to experience some sort of reaction from the body. The way that it works is you take an airplane, whether it's a DC-9 or a 727 or a KC-135, like I got to fly in at the time, you take it, you fly it from Houston, Ellington Field, you fly it over the Gulf, and then you go to cruising altitude, which is about 35,000 feet, and then you nosedive the airplane. So if you've ever had the experience of being in an elevator that drops quite fast when you're coming down, and you feel like the elevator's gonna fall, or you feel that jolt inside of the elevator. Well, imagine prolonging that from a few milliseconds to 30 seconds. So what happens is the airplane, as it nosedives, well, everything inside of it nosedives with it, right? But it is the arrangement of gravity is such that everything inside the airplane is falling. So really what happens is, when you nosedive the airplane, it's almost like the airplane gets out of your way. You're free falling, but the airplane is with you. So what the airplane does, it takes the effect of the wind away. So it's similar to skydiving, but you're skydiving inside of a shell. In this case, the airplane is the shell. So for 30 seconds, you're falling at close to between 120 and 140 miles an hour. And in 25 seconds, you drop to about 10,000 feet. And during those 25, 30 seconds, you experience zero gravity. And then once you get to the bottom of the drop window, the pilots pull back on the stick of the airplane, and you climb again back to 35,000 feet. The climb takes about 2 minutes. So in those 2 minutes, because the airplane is tilted at a 45 degree angle going up, you experience 2 times the force of gravity, and that's what makes people throw up. That's what gives the plane the name of Vomit Comet. And you do this parabola flight about 50 times. So you do it 25 times going out, 25 times going back in towards Houston.
Did you throw up the first time?
I have never thrown up, nope.
You know what? I experienced something similar, not quite to the same extent, but I've been to the observation deck of the Sears Tower in Chicago several times, and when you're coming down in the elevator, you feel like your feet are going to leave the ground, and it's a very strange sensation. So on a very small scale, I can identify. Now, you worked on some inventions that are your own. You've got your own published papers, about 50 of them there with NASA. Could you get into the things that you've worked on to keep our men in the International Space Station while they're out on spacewalks from dying? What work have you done in that area, Miguel?
Right. So after I completed my project, I went on and worked for the automotive industry, and then I got a call from NASA back in 2008, and they said, we found your information, and we have an opening here for you. So you seem to be a well-accomplished engineer. Would you like to come back to work for the engineering team? So I did, and I got put in charge of a series of tools, of equipment, things that astronauts use when they leave the space station. Anytime they're doing spacewalks, whether they're going and repairing the Hubble Space Telescope or flying or doing what we call EVAs, spacewalks, out of the space shuttle or the International Space Station. They said, we want you to be responsible for this equipment. So I did, I have for a number of years. And my first opportunity to put my imagination to work was when we got notified by some of the senior scientists that the space station was beginning to collect an excessive amount of electrostatic electricity. So they needed somebody to develop a way to protect the spacesuit and the astronaut inside of the spacesuit from being affected, or in this case, shocked by electrostatic electricity. So I put my imagination to work, and together with the DuPont Material Company, I came up with an idea that got launched into space back in 2011, and it'll stay there till the end of the space station. So it's a material that acts as an electric dam to prevent the conduction of electricity through the spacesuit. So I was very proud of that. And along those lines, I was also, I've been in charge of determining a number of calculations for the behavior of non-metallic materials in space, and a number of things. So I was able to discover what happens to materials when you put them in space. When you leave things on the space station or any spacecraft for a very long period of time, the sun rays and its energy eats everything up. And I was the guy to determine what happens when everything gets eaten up. What happens then to these materials?
Well, we're talking about a pretty harsh environment being out in space. I mean, you've got so many different things: temperature, radiation. And that's really neat to be on the inside like you were and have that in-depth knowledge of it. I mean, do you find it hard to explain to people like me? I mean, I don't know anything about it, but...
Right. I try to make it as much of a cartoon as possible. Actually, believe it or not, I was with Dr. Wallach last night. I attended one of his lectures, and he was saying that MS is caused by free radical damage. Well, you know what? You mentioned, in the environment of space, you have radiation, you have temperature. Actually, for our materials, one of the worst enemies for all materials in space is this thing called atomic oxygen, which is free radical damage. So the same thing that causes MS causes for these materials that I was researching to fall apart. Isn't that a funny coincidence?
That's amazing. And, it's funny because just being alive or existing in in a physical material space, there's a constant war going on at a microscopic level where you've got, like you said, free radical damage, which is basically an oxygen particle with an odd number of neutrons, and that's happening constantly. I mean, if you see rust on the side of a vehicle, it's really funny that you guys are dealing with the exact same thing in space.
Correct. Again, it's a very, very strange coincidence.
Yeah, so I mean, the same thing that you were able to overcome in your body, you were able to overcome in a vehicle circling the Earth. And I love watching the video footage, the time lapses of the International Space Station going around the planet. If anybody out there has never done that, I encourage you to. They're probably posted at NASA's website, I'm guessing, but it gives you a whole new outlook on this little rock that we live on. Third planet out from the sun. It's absolutely amazing. And listen, Miguel, I'm a spiritual guy. I don't believe that all of this is by accident. I really don't. I can't. I mean, it's too intricate. It's too well planned out. And so, I'm not going to get, religious, but the fact is I believe in God and I believe that there's a plan for everything.
Yeah, when you look at the structure of the universe, and these telescopes that we're launching, whether it's the Hubble Space Telescope or any of the missions that we launch, and we see the beauty of the orchestra of space, there's got to be something driving the boat. There has to be. So our ability to connect to this intelligence is, I believe, to be the future for our human race. So But the problem is we're too busy, making ends meet to take time to connect to that intelligence, that organizing intelligence, and that's our destiny. So would you rather take a shortcut or would you take the long way? Well, I think the shortcut is the way, and that's what I did. That's what allowed me to find the divine intelligence that made my body healthy to begin with. By reconnecting to that, I was able to eliminate the symptoms of being out of alignment with that intelligence.
And that goes into your book.
Exactly.
Feng Shui. Could you get into that a little bit?
Yeah, well, Feng Shui is just another philosophy. It's actually based on 5,000 years of statistical calculations, and it's a technique that comes from Asia, and it tells us about these different forces that come from different places on the earth and how they affect the human being. So I found Feng Shui to be one of the most scientific, esoteric systems that we have here on Earth. Again, not only because it's 5,000 years old, but because there's, for an engineering mind, this Feng Shui thing all makes sense. So that's why I'm very interested. I'm actually the vice president of the Feng Shui Institute of Houston. And I've been helping a lot of people better their lives by incorporating the concept of Feng Shui.
Well, it's amazing. Mike, have you got anything you'd like to ask Miguel at this point?
I'm actually just listening in.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Let him keep talking. Keep talking, man.
Absolutely.
Keep going.
Miguel, you were talking about calming the body, bringing things into alignment. Now, I've met lots of people that, they seem like they're angry all the time, or they're upset, or they're sad all the time, and people around them just don't understand it. They think, well, I don't like that person because, she's a this or he's a that. And the fact is, they're just out of alignment and they need help. We're going to talk about that in the last segment coming up with Miguel Castillo. Before the break, I was talking about, people that just allow stress to build up in their life. And a lot of times it is not their fault. And people around them don't understand it. They lose friends. They have family members that move away from them. But the fact of the matter is, if you've got a blood sugar problem, you're not going to have a good attitude towards life. You're going to be angry. If things aren't running on all cylinders, you're not even going to know what you could be. And I've seen people get over diabetes, different depression issues just by adding the minerals chromium and vanadium through supplementation. So, everything that this man is talking about, I've seen it on other people. And it works. Now, listen, if you want to get a hold of a Dr. Glidden trained health coach and go further with this yourself, you can call 888-618-1796. Now, Miguel, you've got some, you've been doing a TED Talks, and have you got any more coming up that you'd like to alert people to?
Yeah, well, the TED Talk that I did last November 7th is coming up. It'll be published, uploaded into the TED YouTube channel within the next few days, and I just got invited to do a second TED Talk. So we'll see how that goes. That one will be in Brussels. So yeah, I will ask people to keep an eye out for that one.
Wonderful. So you started listening to Dr. Glidden a while back, and I'm guessing he just started making a whole lot of sense to you, and you decided to get on board. What have you found in yourself since you started getting on board with Dr. Wallach's recipes as far as supplementation goes and Dr. Glidden's methods?
Well, Dr. Wallach talks about the genetic potential, achieving the genetic potential. And I have definitely seen that in myself, not only in taking supplements, but also in the effect that the supplements have. I can definitely tell right away that when I'm properly nutrified, my engine is firing on all cylinders. And I've seen even emotional and mental changes come from the proper supplementation. So I believe that having the right nutrition go into our bodies, having the right thoughts, that gives our whole internal potential. It's not just about genetics, because we're much more than that. It's, I don't know, what do you want to call it? Internal potential, soul potential, etc. And talking about, these people that are angry, well, we have to start with the right foundation, with nutrition. And then what do you add on top of that? You add the emotions and you add the mind. And, just like in physics, when you have friction heats materials up. When we have internal friction in our thoughts, we heat up, and that's anger. And the anger comes from us putting our attention on the wrong places. What I did, if people want to know, one of the primary things that I did to get rid of the symptoms from MS is I started putting my attention on the things that did matter, on the things that I did want to manifest. In this case, it was NASA. So we have to steer away from the things that we hate, that we don't like, because what we resist persists, right? And start having this mindset of, this is what I want. I have all the ability, all the intelligence to manifest anything that I want in my life. And have the trust that it's going to work out. Because everything is conspiring, everything in the universe, because it's conspiring for us to get there, to achieve that. I'm not overly optimistic. I'm realistic, because I've seen it again and again and again over the last 15 years since I got rid of the MS.
I have no sound. Yeah. Oh, okay. I can hear you now. My sound cut out there, but yeah, that was beautifully said. I just got cut off near the end, but we're back here. But yeah, and times in my life when I was angry and I was carrying around a load of bitterness, oftentimes it was over things that I absolutely couldn't change. And so, it's just a matter of priorities, right?
Mm-hmm. There's definitely. We have to start looking for life to surprise us. We are, a lot of times, we're the car, life is driving over us. We have to change that. We have to expect for life to bring us its best.
Absolutely.
Us.
Yeah, wonderfully said. I hear the music. That means that we're done for today, but everybody expect for Miguel to be back, because he's got a lot more wisdom to share with us. Mike and Mike filling in for Dr. Glidden. We'll be back tomorrow. We've got another great guest, so tune in, and everybody have a great day.
We use mobile devices right against our bodies every day, but growing scientific evidence has emerged showing serious health risks associated with exposure to EMF radiation emitted from these devices. The solution is Defender Shield, the most effective mobile radiation shielding ever developed. Defender Shield blocks virtually 100% of EMF radiation from cell phones, tablets, and laptops, and starts at just $64.99. Buy now at DefenderShield.com. For 10% off, use promo code GCN. DefenderShield.com, the worldwide leader in mobile radiation shielding.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At ContractorExam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, ContractorExam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.ContractorExam.com today.
Sciatica, lower back pain, hip pain, poor posture. If you suffer from any of these problems, get ready to relax. Introducing an amazing product that's been in the market for over 25 years, the Sacro Wedgie. It was invented by a football coach using a common sense osteopath technique. He created this device to help his athletes by isolating and supporting the sacrum, which is the keystone of our anatomy. This wedge-shaped bone is in the center of our hips, where a lot of pain starts. Simply relax 20 minutes daily on the amazingly simple Sacro Wedgie and let gravity do the work, helping muscles rebalance and start releasing nerves. Sit in the Sacro Wedgie at the computer or while traveling to help correct posture to finally help relieve those stubborn aches and pains for only $33.95. It's made in the USA, so click the family-owned website at sacrowedgie.com, spelled SACROWEDGY.com, or call 1-800-737-9295. That's 1-800-737-9295. Relax your back pain away with the Sacro Wedgie.
We'll be back.
Hello?
Congratulations.
For what?
For losing all that weight. How'd you do it so fast?
ASAP.
What? What's that mean?
Are you ready to get as skinny as possible, as soon as possible, as simple as possible, and as sexy as possible?
I'm listening.
Then get with the ASAP program. It's real and it works. No smooth talk, no slick advertising, and no exaggerated claims of success.
I've got to know more.
Welcome to ASAP, as slim as possible. Whether you have 10, 20, or 50 pounds to lose, ASAP is your weight loss answer. ASAP targets the abnormal fat reserves and makes them available to be burned as fuel and contains no caffeine or hormones. Order ASAP at wholesale prices or join the team to share the business with others. Go to GCNteam.com or call 855-GCN-MALL. That's 855-426-6255. GCNteam.com or 855-426-6255. Lose weight and look great with ASAP, as slim as possible.
This is a healthcare alert from the Pain Relief Hotline. If you, a family member, or a loved one suffers from knee, back, shoulder, or ankle pain and have Medicare as your primary insurance, we've got great news. You don't have to suffer any longer. You can immediately qualify for a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost to you by calling our 24/7 Pain Relief Hotline at 866-389-0620. Delivery is free and all paperwork is handled for you. If you are on Medicare and have knee, back, shoulder, or ankle pain, don't wait. You can qualify to immediately receive a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost by calling our 24/7 Pain Hotline now at 866-389-0620. Our representatives are standing by 24/7 to take your call and rush you your pain-relieving brace at little or no cost to you. Shipping is free and all paperwork is handled for you. Just call 866-389-0620. That's 866-389-0620. Again, 866-389-0620.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At ContractorExam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, ContractorExam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.ContractorExam.com today.
The Genesis Communications Network is one of America's premier broadcasters of captivating talk radio. We thank you for listening. Now, just imagine, there are thousands of people who are just as passionate about radio as you are. But what you may not realize is how easy and affordable it is to advertise with us. Radio commercials for your business could be heard on hundreds of radio stations across the U.S. every day. We can help you by creating an effective radio advertising campaign for your company. From script writing to producing your commercial, just like the one you're listening to right now. No other network provides the level of customer service we do. When it comes to radio advertising, we are your one-stop shop. And no matter how big or small your business is, we can help. Email us at advertise@gcnlive.com, and an experienced advertising executive will help you take the first step towards driving more customers to your business or website. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
Water is the single most important thing your body needs, so you want to be sure it's the best for you and your family. Since 2005, thousands have depended on Berkey purified water. The Berkey Guy provides the lowest priced filtration systems in every size. For incredibly delicious water now and in an emergency, get to goberkey.com or call 877-886-3653. 877-886-3653. goberkey.com.
Owe $10,000 or more to the IRS?
Get on board with the Tax Admiral. Don't pick on the IRS alone. I'll cut penalties and reduce your overall tax bill. Sometimes I can even get it zeroed out completely.
We're an A-rated company helping people clean up their mess with the IRS.
If you owe $10,000 or more, then call the Tax Admiral.
Call 800-287-7180. Again, that's 800-287-7180. 800-287-7180.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states.
Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-905-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. Say goodbye to the cable guy and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. Sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows, pause and rewind live TV, even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV. Say goodbye to the cable guy. Cut costs and get more. 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV.
I'm Jesse Gonzalez, Vice President at Kmart. Did you know that premature birth is the #1 killer of babies in the United States, or that survivors can face a lifetime of serious health problems? But you can help. Join me in Kmart for the March for Babies Walk. We'll work together to raise funds for research and programs that help the Marchionines fight premature birth and birth defects and improve the health of moms and babies. Start your team today at marchforbabies.org.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-704-6182.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, A Place for Mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-704-6182. That's 1-800-704-6182.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Are you sneezing, coughing, and aching? Do you have a sore throat, a fever, or the sniffles? There's no reason to be sick this cold and flu season with immune system support from Supernatural Silver. Supernatural Silver can give your body the help it needs to fight off harmful pathogens without hurting beneficial gut flora and without leaving behind resistant bacteria. Antibiotics can damage good microflora and often leave behind bacteria which can cause problems later on. If you're sick of being sick, try Supernatural Silver. Supernatural Silver, the #1 choice of thousands for a safe and effective way to protect against the many diseases and illnesses that we are facing today. Go to supernaturalsilver.com, read our customer reviews, and see the life-changing results that people are having. That's supernaturalsilver.com. Supernaturalsilver.com. Use the promo code PROTECTED for 20% off your entire order. And like us on Facebook. Supernatural Silver.